How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I'll bring along with me to talk about batteries and see which ones are the right one for your Sony cameras. So let's jump right into it. Choosing the right batteries will be a very important thing when it comes down to your cameras to ensure that you have enough juice to create the content. So I thought it'd be a great little discussion to talk about, the pros and cons of using, the original Sony batteries or some third-party batteries to see if it really makes a much difference when it comes down to using it for an everyday kind of style. See, everybody has their own opinions on it, and I'm going to give you my experiences using both of these batteries for quite a while, honestly, since I've had most of my third-party batteries since I had my Sony A7 III, since they use the same battery size when it comes down to my Sony A7 IV or my Sony A7S III. The Sony type of batteries are the more expensive ones, obviously, so that's why a lot of people kind of try to find alternatives, because having one of these is equivalent to having like two of these, sometimes even three, depending on where you get them from. So is it really that much different to just use maybe the Sony line or using the third-party ones? Personally, I haven't had any issues using my third-party ones, but I do use my Sony versions of them a lot more often if I can, if I know that they're fully charged. But to have these as a backup has been a great thing to have when it comes down to having an alternative than having to buy only Sony branded batteries. There's some pros and cons to everything, no matter what you do in life, whether it's a third party or the main ones. They can always claim they're going to be the exact same thing or not. So it just really depends on what you're wanting to do. For me personally, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference in the performance quality. They might go a little bit faster in the battery juice department, but they're not horrendously that much different to me. I haven't had the issues where I noticed that maybe the third-party battery went like 50% faster than the Sony one. It's just been really fine. I haven't had any issues. You do get that little warning that Sony tells you like, oh, you're not using an original one. Are you wanting to, continue? And I just say yes, and nothing has happened. And I've had these for maybe 3 years already, give or take. So I personally believe that you're going to be fine using the third party, batteries. Most people will try to sell you onto getting the original ones, and it could be because they had bad experiences with some third-party batteries, and everybody has their own experiences, so this is just mine. I think the Sony batteries obviously are going to be great because they're just the Sony ones made for the camera, and you want to have the ones that are made for your camera. Don't get me wrong, probably would be beneficial, but the budget for those sometimes to be able to have more than just maybe 2 or 3 just starts piling up over and over. We know how much expensive these cameras are, and having to kind of buy every little detail for them can get quite pricey. So having a good alternative for a third party kind of setup for batteries or lenses isn't the worst, end of the deal. For me, my Sony camera has been perfectly fine using the third-party batteries, and to be honest, I think most people are probably going to be fine for what they're using them for. If you feel like you're going to be using them more for professional and maybe higher duty kind of style of work, then maybe go with the Sony line. That's probably why you're even debating it, if it's really worth it. But if you know that you're going to need something like that, you're okay with the budget and everything, then obviously the original one would probably be the best option for you. But for the average user, I think having third-party batteries as backups from your original one is not going to be the end of the world. I don't think it'll affect your camera the way that most people have made it seem. There are going to be obviously some risk when it comes down to that, so take that with however you want to. But for me personally, I haven't had any issues, no issues with my camera freezing up or anything like that. No issues with like it affecting the camera controls or anything like short circuit kind of style. The only difference is that it's just not a Sony branded battery, and I'm able to still perform things maybe at a little bit less power in the sense of like longevity wise, that it might go a little bit faster than the Sony, because obviously you're paying for less. They're probably not going to be the same quality in that aspect, but you're still able to have extra batteries for what's needed. So for me, I actually have these ones that literally have no brand that I can remember of it, and I also have the newer versions of batteries of these, because I used to have them for when I had the battery pack basically for the grip for my Sony A7R III, I had it so I had extra battery and I could always have that extra juice just for whatever I needed. And they've worked really great. I still use them individually because I had some extra battery. So whenever I sold that camera, I still give them 2 batteries that went with that one, but I kept 2 of them for myself because I wanted to have extra batteries, and it's worked out great. I mean, I've used it for my Sony A7 IV, my Sony A7S III, all my travels. I bring those batteries, haven't had any issues. So if you're on the fence to kind of debate what you want to get, I think you'll be fine to get a third-party battery to just use it for your videos and photos, whatever you need to, without having too much thought. So just look and compare what reviews there are out there of them and see which one will be beneficial for you. But for me, some of the third-party batteries have worked out great, and I just thought I would kind of discuss that with you guys to see if you choose to shoot with just only the brand name or if you're okay with shooting the third party. Let me know down below what your thoughts on it is, so that way it might help out somebody else your experience, because mine obviously is I'm okay with them. So I'm fine with people using them because I know I get asked what kind of batteries would be best for their cameras. And instead of having to reply every single time with just use, third party or whatever, it's just could be easier to just have this video. But I'm sure somebody will still ask me, whether it's on Instagram or something like that, like, hey, what batteries do you use for your Sony cameras? But it's just the life. That's okay. Not everybody gets to see the videos, but yeah. So hopefully it'll help you out. If you have any different experiences, let me know down below, and what was the reason and why you didn't have the same experience. Maybe you prefer just the Sony brands because of peace of mind and you don't mind paying a little bit extra. Maybe you don't mind the third party, batteries because they still produce the same results and you're perfectly fine with spending less on that aspect to invest it into something else. Would love to know your thoughts on that, and I'm sure other people will too. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.